Okay, testing 1, 2, 3. Let me know if you hear me, please. Let me know. Welcome in, ladies and gents, and anyone in between. All right, let's see what we got here. Oh, first in line, first here. Extra early today was Sweet Dude Shibby. Sweet Dude Shibby was here. Thank you for coming in early, Sweet Dude. All right, Bobby Smith, welcome in. Of course you're welcome here, Bobby Smith. Welcome in. Jojo, welcome in. Hey, Jojo. Amy. What up, Amy? Welcome in and thank you for the flowers, Amy. And Dawn Steele says, hello, Prophet, everyone. What up, Dawn? Sonic Landscape. Welcome in. Okay, what's up, everybody? Hope everyone had a good Monday. Yes, indeed. All right, thank you for the sound check there, Amy and Sonic and Bobby. Welcome in, Lamberco. Welcome in. Yeah, please hit that thumbs up for the algorithm. If you do not mind, please hit the thumbs up. I planned on waiting until Joe was done with his show, but can't wait. Can't wait. It's getting late, and it's late enough. So I figured we'll just dive on in. All right, Lambert Cove. And Frenchie, 6290. Welcome in, French. Good to see you. Mark Collins. Welcome in, Mark Collins. And good to see you, too. Nancy Drew, 101. Hi there, Amy. What am I, chopped liver? Come on, Nancy Drew. All right, so yeah, you guys. It's gonna be a rough one today. It's gonna be a rough one. I announced to you maybe Thursday or Wednesday, maybe it was Thursday, that I was going to wait until I was ready to go ahead and dive into these pages today, and tonight I am ready. And I gave it some thought, and I just I guess my overall feeling is I'll probably lose some subscribers today. Probably lose a few of you, but hey, you can't please everyone. You got to learn to please yourself. You guys remember that song? Garden Party. Garden Party. So, uh, so we'll have some. We will read through this document, and then we'll have some serious discussion afterwards. And I don't know. Sometimes I feel like the only adult in the room, and sometimes you just gotta be the only adult in the room. And so we'll be getting into that later. But for now, we'll prepare to get started with the Delphi murders, Rick Allen's false confessions. So please bear with us while we get into this, and I will try to make it done. Oh yeah, well, thank you for bringing that up, Amy. Have you seen the community page Delphi Weird Shit Prof posted? I've been posting some things that I suggest you go take a look at. There's a lot of it, and yeah, once we get into discussion, you guys just ask me about any of it. But that'll be maybe when I'm reading, you can go sneak and take a peek at the community page. I believe I put in 13 installments so far. A variety of stuff. And this stuff, see, I know it's rather difficult for those who are not familiar with many aspects of the case. I know looking at an assorted collection like that can be difficult because people don't know how to piece it all together. Hey, that's what the comment section is for. I'll say it. I'll put it that way. So anyone looking into that stuff, if it gets confusing, that's what the comment section is for. We can discuss it there, but I'm sure many of you, if you take a look at the stuff, it'll be self-evident what the stuff is. And it's my opinion that if you take a survey of all of that material, you pretty much come away with a good idea of the crime. And hey, that's my goal, is that you understand what I'm putting down, okay? I think that there's so many angles you can look at this, and everything points in one direction. And it's all on that community page, so enjoy it. Welcome in Digital and Sweet Dude Shibby. So don't be calling me no adult. I have to lurk and drive. All right, Digital. Well, hey, look, you'll be able to listen because we'll do some reading. Unfortunately, we'll be doing some reading, and I'll try my best to get through it. All right. So what we are looking at here, let's go ahead and get into business. This is the good old memorandum of law in support of defendant Allen's motion to suppress. Okay. Just a moment here. Just give me a moment. Okay, thank you for your patience. I am I must admit I lost something that I am looking for. So it's a little on the annoying side here. Okay. All right. All right. So here we go. Hey, welcome in to Pam Sheehan. Welcome in to Kenneth and Don Leonard. All right. Welcome in, you guys. Anyone in the Lurker crew, please join the chat. I won't be reading it for a moment. I'll be reading this. Okay. And welcome in Ellen West and also Curtis. Thank you for joining the chat. You must have heard me. So here we go. Okay. I'm sure it's not big enough for you to read, so I'll just go on through it. Okay. Facts: defendant Allen was arrested in October of 2022 and immediately detained in the Carroll County Jail. Allen was thereafter transferred to the White County Jail and ultimately charged with 2 counts of felony murder. The charges were lodged against him on October 28, 2022. On November 3rd, 2023, Carroll County Sheriff petitioned the court for an order transferring jurisdiction of Allen's custody from the Carroll County Sheriff to Indiana DOC. On the same day and without the formality of a hearing, on the sheriff's request, Judge Benjamin Diener signed an order, safekeeping order, transferring Allen's custody to the IDOC without Allen or his legal representatives having any input into his pretrial detainment. Allen was then shipped off to the Westville Correctional Facility and placed in a maximum security segregation unit referred to by prison officials as WCU. At the time the court signed the safekeeping order, Allen had yet to be appointed counsel. In fact, Allen's court-appointed public defenders, Rozzi and Baldwin, did not enter their appearance until November 14, 2022, and therefore Allen had no input as to his pre-trial detention circumstances. The record should also reflect that the safekeeping order and all other exhibits referenced herein have been personally served on the court in the form of a supplemental appendix. Okay. From approximately November 1st, 2022 through December of 2023, Allen remained incarcerated in the WCU. Allen's attorneys are unaware of any other pretrial detainee that has ever been housed in the WCU in the history of the facility, and most certainly not in the 5 or so years preceding his placement. Warden John Gallipo was deposed by the defense on Friday, March 22nd, 2024, where he acknowledged he had worked in the IDOC for 28 years and was warden at the Westville facility for approximately 5 years leading up to Allen's placement. Warden Gallipo acknowledged that during his entire tenure, he was unaware of any other circumstance involving the pretrial detention of a man who had not yet been convicted of a crime. Okay, now I should point out that on the first page, that date should read November 3rd of 2022. It's a typo. Allen's attorneys have conducted depositions, watched video from Allen's cell, and other video from within the prison, reviewed prison records regarding Allen's detention, reviewed Allen's medical and psychiatric records, and listened to audio interviews of prison inmates and guards conducted by law enforcement officials. Through this process, Allen's attorneys have learned that Allen has been accused of making incriminating statements to both inmates and guards. Nearly all of these statements appear to have occurred between mid-March of 2023 and June of 2023. During this time frame, there also exist medical psychiatric records suggesting that Allen was in a state of psychosis. See attached report of Treatment Review Committee, TRC hearing. Allen's defense team has learned that Allen was not only detained in an isolation cell in WCU, but that prison officials chose to post inmates at Allen's cell door and required the inmates to keep logs of all of Allen's actions, statements, and behaviors. This appears to have occurred during all hours of the day and continued over the course of much of Allen's stay in the WCU. These inmates, all of whom are convicted felons, were not only actively engaged in surveilling Allen's activities, but were also communicating with him from time to time. Allen's attorneys have learned that at some point in early April of 2023, prison officials deliberately pulled the inmates from Allen's cell door and replaced them with prison guards. Allen's attorneys have learned that this appears to have been prompted by an inmate or inmates engaging Allen regarding his pending charges and communicating Allen's thoughts and words to the families of these inmates, thereby violating any sense of confidentiality that might exist within the walls of the penitentiary. Well, no comment on that, but I think that's pretty weak right there. There's no expectation of confidentiality when speaking with other inmates. Okay. Most notably, Allen's living circumstances within the prison appear to have been designed, whether intentionally or unintentionally, to expose him to some of the harshest conditions that even the most heinous of convicted offenders might not have endured. No, it's intentional. I guarantee you this is intentional. Um, this coercive environment was initially the product of Allen being detained in an observation cell used for convicted inmates with suicidal ideations. The single cell, located in the A pod, is one of approximately 60 individual segregation cells, all containing felons convicted of crimes such as burglary, robbery, child molestation, and murder. Each and every one of these inmates had the ability to communicate with Allen by yelling at him at all hours of the day and night, and by chastising him every time he was removed from his cell for purposes of recreation, showering, or other administrative reasons. Allen's attorneys have learned that he was referred to as a baby killer and that he was a target of other similar accusations during his stay in the WCU. Prison records reflect that Allen was placed on suicide watch during the majority of his stay at WCU, including upon his initial detention in November of 2022. See attached Adult Mental Health Order of 11/3/22. This occurred despite the fact that there were no underlying findings to suggest he was suicidal. Allen's designation as suicidal subjected him to even harsher circumstances than those of other offenders on the unit. For example, Allen's bed consisted of a metal plate with a thin mattress, all of which was just a few inches from the concrete floor. Allen was issued an anti-suicide smock which covered his body no better than that of the garment of a caveman. Allen's food was served to him through a cuff portal, and his dining habits involved him sitting on his bed or on the floor, as his cell was not equipped with a table or a chair that would otherwise serve even as a rudimentary dining arrangement. Allen's cell also contained a steel toilet and sink, both in direct line of sight of the inmates and guards assigned to his surveil. The toilet bowl was located approximately 24 inches from his bed. Allen's attorneys learned that Allen was not only under constant surveillance, but that the lights remained on in his cell for many days and nights. It is also true that due to his suicide watch designation, he was afforded less or no recreation time and less of an opportunity for showers. See attached audio of Corrections Officer Timothy Weiss at the 3 to 4 minute mark. In essence, his suicide designation was the cause for the removal of additional privileges, to the extent the word privilege even applies, which in turn further fostered an environment that led to the deterioration of Allen's mental and physical health. And we all witnessed that. In all, for nearly 13 months at the WCU, Allen was deprived of any social interaction, very little to no privacy, limited recreation time, and was left to entertain himself. Allen's intake records with the DOC reflect that he was 5'5" and 175 pounds at admission in November of 22. His weight by April of 23 had dropped to below 135. Okay. So he lost 40, 50 pounds. Unfortunately, Allen's unusual detention circumstances would extend beyond the door of his isolation cell. Whenever Allen was removed from the confines of his 12x8 steel and concrete box, aka cell, he was shackled with ankle cuffs, a belly chain, box cuffs on his hands, and guided around by guards with a lead, or what most people refer to as a leash. As if this restriction of his basic freedom of movement was not enough, prison officials assigned a videographer to Allen to record his movements around the prison, including when he would meet with his lawyers. During all meetings between Allen and his attorneys, he remained shackled, as referenced above, making simple tasks difficult, such as taking a drink of water from a bottle. Allen would not be able to communicate as much as a hand gesture due to his shackled state. During other meetings, prison officials placed a video camera outside of a window in the visitation room and required Allen to sit on a hard plastic chair directly in line with the video camera, which was less than 10 feet away. Allen's highly unusual detention circumstance extended even to visits with his wife. During one visit, Allen was transported outside of the WCU to a building reserved for visitation for those inmates in general population. Allen again was shackled and confined during the transport and ultimately re-robed into a green jumpsuit before seeing his wife. He was, however, unshackled during the visit. His embrace with his wife was controlled by prison protocol, which permitted only a few brief seconds of contact, despite the fact that Allen had not seen his wife for the better part of 6 months. Allen was required to sit on the opposite side of the table from his wife and had 2 prison guards stationed within earshot of each end of his table. They were left with absolutely no privacy. The room was completely empty except for his lawyers and a few other prison guards who were also stationed within the building. This provided no background noise whatsoever, which might offer up some aspect of privacy as he and his wife tried to communicate. And his restrictions did not end here. Allen and his wife were also denied the simple concession of getting a drink of water during his visit, despite the fact that there were a number of vending machines and water fountains within 10 to 20 feet from the table. Allen's unusual detention involves an even stranger set of circumstances. During the course of their representation of Allen, his attorneys discovered the existence of dozens and dozens of police reports, audio interviews, and other investigative findings that centered on a group of suspects associated with the pagan Norse spiritual religious practices. Sorry for that. Okay. Let's reread that. And welcome everyone coming in, and anyone I haven't said hello to, welcome. During the course of their representation of Allen, his attorneys discovered the existence of dozens and dozens of police reports, audio interviews, and other investigative findings that centered on a group of suspects associated with pagan Norse spiritual religious practices. Pardon. These suspects considered themselves Odinists, all of which were referenced in the Frank's motion and memorandum and the second Frank's motion and memorandum previously filed with this court. Okay, and you will remember we went into quite detail in our look at the Frank's memorandum. The facts and circumstances surrounded by the possibility that these individuals, otherwise known as Odinists, are specifically referenced in the Frank's motion and memo filed with this court on September 18, 2023 and October 2nd, 2023. Allen incorporates herein the details referenced in the Frank's filings rather than restating the lengthy details in this memorandum. Okay, so just a reiteration to everyone listening. You may recognize that I have previously called your attention to the fact that with each filing of major importance, the attorneys for Allen are constantly reiterating and reincorporating the contents of the Frank's memorandum into the updated filings. And once again with this one, okay, I would remind you that with this statement, we have incorporated the contents of the Frank's memorandum into this document. So those 136 pages now are pulled into this paragraph. Okay, so let's read that again. Allen incorporates herein the details referenced in the Frank's filings rather than restating the lengthy details in this memorandum. And those are 3 Frank's filings as of this day. Allen's lawyers also discovered that at least 2 guards assigned to his pod and or his movements around the facility also held themselves out to be affiliated with the pagan Norse god known as Odin. Okay. See affidavits of Joshua Robinson and Randy Jones. Robinson and Jones, our Odinist guards. The guards proudly displayed their Odinistic beliefs on their own prison uniforms, despite the fact that such a display was in direct violation of their uniform policy. Okay. You will remember that upon the deposition of Jerry Holman, and the defense indicating to Jerry Holman that there was some sort of angle they were looking at into this pagan Norse aspect, within a week, those patches disappeared off those uniforms. Major red flag that I constantly try to reiterate because people quickly forget that without any mention of it from the attorneys, just the sheer suspicion of Allen's attorneys suspecting some possible pagan Norse link, Jerry Holman obviously communicated with someone at Westville such that those patches disappeared in less than a week. And on at least one occasion, one of these guards tased Allen after he was placed into his secure 8x12 cell because Allen refused to remove his hands from the cuff port in the door of his cell. A cuff port that is barely large enough through which to slide a meal tray. Allen posed absolutely no risk to anyone at the time he was tased. Allen also battled depression throughout most of his adult life. He was medicated over the course of his life, and in fact, he had sought out therapeutic resources to treat and manage his depression. The IDOC gave very little consideration to Allen's condition at the time of his intake and initial incarceration in the WCU, especially given the unusual circumstances in which he was detained. It is also believed that Allen's medications were administered in a less than consistent fashion while he was on the unit, all of which have contributed to his inability to endure his living environment during his pretrial detention at the WCU. Issue. The issue in this case is whether the state violated Allen's Fifth and Sixth Amendment rights and federal and state due process rights by detaining him in solitary confinement in a maximum security prison segregation unit while he was awaiting trial. Allen's statements were involuntary and should be suppressed. Okay. Coercive policy, I'm sorry about that. Coercive police activity is a necessary predicate to a finding that a confession is involuntary within the meaning of the Due Process Clause, Colorado versus Connolly, 1986. However, coercive police activity is not a necessary prerequisite to challenge the voluntariness of a defendant's statement under Article 1, Section 14 of the Indiana Constitution, as there may be other elements that would tend to support a finding of involuntariness. State versus Banks, 2013. The proper standard under the Indiana Constitution is whether the confession was, quote, freely self-determined and the product of a rational intellect and free will, close quotation, which is Hurt versus State, 1998. Thus, courts look to the totality of the circumstances to determine if the confession was voluntary, taking into account many factors, including 1, whether the statement was made under a court order; 2, use of police trickery; 3, threats or promises by police; 4, defendant's race, age, or disability; 5, length of detention; 6, physical coercion; or 7, illegal police practices. Well, in my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, we pretty much hit all 7. I mean, let's read those again. I think that deserves a reread. Okay, that does. The proper standard under the Indiana Constitution is whether the confession was, quote, freely self-determined and the product of a rational intellect and a free will, close quotation. Thus, courts look to the totality of the circumstances to determine if the confession was voluntary, taking into account many factors, including 1, whether the statement was made under a court order; 2, use of police trickery; 3, threats or promises by police; 4, defendant's race, age, or disability; 5, length of detention; 6, physical coercion; 7, illegal police practices. Like I said, pretty much all of them. Analysis, notwithstanding the lower standard for showing involuntariness set by the Indiana Constitution, it is indisputable that Allen's detention circumstances were manufactured by the Carroll County Sheriff purposefully and without the existence of any sense of due process, as the court signed the safekeeping order without requiring the state to establish the burden of proof required by the statute. But this was just the beginning. Allen was then shipped off to the WCU and immediately placed on suicide watch in a detention cell where he had little to no accommodations, not even those offered up to the other 2,000 convicted inmates housed across the prison yard. Have to read that one again. Notwithstanding the lower standard for showing involuntariness set by the Indiana Constitution, it is indisputable that Allen's detention circumstances were manufactured by the Carroll County Sheriff's Office purposefully and without the existence of any sense of due process, as the court signed the safekeeping order without requiring the state to establish the burden of proof required by the statute. But this was just the beginning. Allen was then shipped off to WCU and immediately placed on suicide watch in a detention cell where he had little to no accommodations, not even those offered up to the other 2,000 convicted inmates housed across the prison yard. Almost simultaneous with Allen's isolation from human contact, prison companions were placed at his doorstep and tasked with the duty of reporting his every move and recording his every word. Those companions appear to have gone above and beyond this duty by communicating with Allen about his case and even praying with him as he struggled to withstand the rigors of his incarceration. The mere presence at his doorstep is akin to Messiah versus U.S. 1964, where police obtained incriminating statements from a jailhouse informant who engaged the defendant in a conversation and developed a relationship of trust and confidence with the defendant, such that he revealed incriminating information about the charged crime when his counsel was not present. The court held that this was improper and suppressed the statements. This trial court should do the same. This trial court's decision regarding admissibility of a confession or incriminating statement is controlled by determining from the totality of the circumstances whether the statement was given voluntarily, rather than induced through violence, threats, coercion, or other improper influence so as to overcome the defendant's free will. Hartman versus State, 2013. See also Treadway, 2010. Griffith versus State, 2003. Standard indicators for voluntariness include whether the confession was freely self-determined, the product of a rational intellect and free will, without compulsion or inducement of any sort, and whether the accused will was overborne. Here, Allen's free will was overcome by the forces of his environment, all of which were placed upon him by the government and its actors. Allen, a man with bona fide pre-existing mental health issues, was detained in an isolation cell, entirely isolated from any sense of meaningful human contact, and then offered up the most basic amenities of life through a cuff port hole in his door. He was reduced to sleeping on a mattress that was placed on top of a steel plate just a few inches from the floor. This same mattress and floor also doubled as his dining table because the cell had no such accommodation. His attire was reduced to nothing more than a suicide smock covering only a portion of his body. And it is also paper thin. Is it not cold in there? Allen's healthiest accommodations came in the form of recreation time, not to exceed 4 hours per week. In this space, there was not enough room to jog or run, only an exercise bike and a pull-up bar. Allen's other accommodation would have been a window slit that was inside his cell. His view of anything outside of the boundaries of his penitentiary would have been impaired by the rusty chain link and razor wire of at least 2 separate fences between him and any sense of freedom. To the extent that Allen was ever allowed to be removed from his cell, he was shackled at the ankles, wrist, further confined by a belly chain and a cuff port, and guided around the prison on a leash. All ideal ways to confine and control the movements of a convicted killer or some other convict who, in addition to his conviction, posed a threat to himself or the prison staff. Allen, at 5'5" and 173 pounds soaking wet, and without one single criminal conviction on his rap sheet, met none of these conditions. As if this treatment wasn't enough, Allen was forced to endure the intimacies of his restraint systems even while he was meeting with his court-appointed lawyers inside the confines of the maximum security segregation unit located inside of the Westville Correctional Facility. And to add insult to injury, Allen's meetings with his attorneys occurred while he had a video camera aimed at his face, recording sessions that should have been afforded the most private of environments so as to protect the relationship between attorney and client. All of this occurred while Allen's medications were being adjusted by prison medical team, the combination of which factors reduced him to nothing more than a human experiment. Allen's free will was overcome. Under the Indiana Constitution, the voluntariness of a confession must be proved beyond a reasonable doubt. And in reviewing voluntariness, the courts look at the totality of circumstances, reviewing all of the evidence in the record rather than focusing on the evidence supporting the finding of voluntariness. Pruitt versus State, 2005. Under the U.S. Constitution, the prosecution only has to prove by preponderance of the evidence that a confession was voluntary. Smith versus State, 1997. Lego versus Twalmy, 1972. As explained below, the state cannot meet its burden of showing voluntariness here, even applying the lower standard of preponderance. The federal courts have a long history of regulating the admission of confessions that have been a product of state action that exploits the weak and compromised through interrogatory and custodial processes. In Blackburn versus State of Alabama, 1960, the U.S. Supreme Court noted that it had recognized, quote, that coercion can be mental as well as physical, and that the blood of the accused is not the only hallmark of an unconstitutional inquisition. A number of cases have demonstrated, if demonstrations were needed, that the efficiency of the rack and the thumbscrew can be matched, given the proper subject, by more sophisticated modes of persuasion. A prolonged interrogation of an accused who is ignorant of his rights and who has been cut off from the moral support of friends and relatives is not infrequently an effective technique of terror. Thus, the range of inquiry in this type of case must be broad, and this court has insisted that the judgment in each instance be based upon consideration of the totality of the circumstances. Close quotation. Allen's case falls within these federal parameters. In Blackburn, the defendant had a documented history of mental illness, having served in the military, which ultimately resulted in his discharge because of a medical finding that he suffered from some form of psychosis. He was in the process of being treated in the days and weeks leading up to the commission of the crime and his ultimate apprehension. After enduring an 8 to 10 hour interrogation, Blackburn was given a prepared written statement with admissions offered up by him in the course of the interrogation, and he ultimately signed the written statement 2 days later. Here, Allen endured a longer and more sustained form of interrogation, one that lasted more than 5 months before he was finally broken. Already suffering from a bona fide mental health disorder, and then having been cut off from the moral support of his wife, mother, and daughter, Allen was weakened to the point where he slipped into a state of psychosis plagued with grossly disorganized, delusional, paranoid, and highly dysfunctional behavior. These behaviors were manifested through verbal confessions that he may have been drugged, verbal confessions to the double homicide, inconsistent with known facts about the crime scene, periods of not sleeping for days, paranoia, stripping off his clothes, drinking toilet water, covering himself with and eating his own feces, and many other socially unacceptable behaviors. Okay, let's stop there. I think it's important to rehash that, okay? Already suffering from a bona fide mental health disorder, i.e. depression, for which he was medicated, and then having been cut off from the moral support of his wife, mother, and daughter, Allen was weakened to the point where he slipped into a state of psychosis, plagued with grossly disorganized, delusional, paranoid, and highly dysfunctional behavior. These behaviors were manifested through verbal confessions that he may have been drugged, verbal confessions to the double homicide, inconsistent with known facts about the crime scene, periods of not sleeping for days, paranoia, stripping off his clothes, drinking toilet water, covering himself with and eating his own feces, and many other socially unacceptable behaviors. Okay? I would like to interject here that the mere locking up of an individual who has never been locked up in his life, much less in a prison, much less in a solitary suicide unit, could break even the most mentally stable individual. You think for how long this man was and has been subjected to this treatment. Not only that, you had inmates and guards threatening his life, threatening his family, screaming all hours of the day and night, with the lights constantly on in his cell. On one occasion, Allen confessed to molesting those 2 young girls and shooting them in the back. On another occasion, he professed his sorrow for molesting Abby, Libby, and others which he specifically named. Correctional Officer Michael Roberts' statement between 15 and 16-minute mark. These facts are known to be falsities, none of which are supported by the autopsy findings by Dr. Roland Kaur as to the cause of death of the girls, and unsupported by the absence of any evidence that either one of the girls were sexually assaulted near or before the time of their deaths. See attached autopsy reports of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. At the time Allen uttered these falsities, the state's actors were in the ready position with pen in hand, documenting the entirety of Allen's mental and physical deterioration and the actions stemming therefrom. The infringements on Allen's legal rights didn't stop here. Inmate companions then spread the good word of Allen's confessions to inmates in the general population at Westville, prompting these inmates to then share the information with their respective family members in the public. See attached transcripts of Lacey Patton Jr. and Jason Elliott. Proof of these leaks were offered up by the state in the form of audio recorded interviews and accompanying transcripts, and included large volumes of discovery dumps received by the defense in the past. Proof of these leaks were offered up by the state in the form of audio recorded interviews and accompanying transcripts. I would guess it's from Lacey Patton Jr. and Jason Elliott, and included in large volumes of discovery dumps received by the defense in the recent past. However, neither Allen nor his legal team were aware or are aware of any self-reporting of said leaks by the state to the defense or by the state to the court, despite the fact that the state was aware of this information as early as May 12, 2023, when Patton and Elliott were interviewed by law enforcement investigators. Allen's due process rights have been all but ignored. Okay. Now, interesting, isn't it, that the report of these so-called confessions was leaked quite a long time ago. It is also established that the 14th Amendment forbids fundamental unfairness in the use of evidence, whether true or false. Lazenba versus People of State of California. As important as it is that persons who have committed crimes be convicted, there are considerations that transcend the question of guilt or innocence. Thus, in cases involving all involuntary confessions, this court enforces the strongly felt attitude of our society that important human values are sacrificed where an agency of the government, in the course of securing a conviction, wrings a confession out of an accused against his will. This insistence upon putting the government to the task of proving guilt by means other than inquisition was engendered by the historical abuses which are quite familiar. Pardon me, guys, I am very tired. See Chambers versus State of Florida. Watts versus State of Indiana. The truth or falsity of Allen's statements are of no consequence to this analysis. Allen has been treated unlike any other pretrial detainee in Indiana in recent history. The methodology employed by the justice system is one of first impression, and therefore the circumstances created by this methodology should not be part of any consideration of Allen's guilt or innocence. The system of pretrial detention employed against Allen runs afoul of the Fifth and Sixth Amendments of the U.S. Constitution and Article 1, Section 14 of the Indiana Constitution. It is for these reasons any and all incriminating statements made by Allen while incarcerated should be suppressed. Okay. Let's read that again because that was very important. The truth or falsity of any or of Allen's statements are of no consequence to this analysis. Allen has been treated unlike, just a moment. All right, so here's a kicker here. There is no one whatsoever, no matter which side you stand on, who can deny the following statement. Alan has been treated unlike any other pretrial detainee in Indiana in recent history, and I would say in the United States. Alan has been treated unlike any other pretrial detainee you have ever fucking heard of. And that's a fact. The methodology employed by the justice system is one of first impression, and therefore the circumstances created by this methodology should not be part of any consideration of Alan's guilt or innocence. The system of pretrial detention employed against Alan runs afoul of the Fifth and Sixth Amendments to the U.S. Constitution and Article 1, Section 14 of the Indiana Constitution. Okay. Now, yes, but we're not in Gitmo, are we? We're not in Gitmo. No, we're not. Now, let's go back really quickly and touch on a couple points. These were the huge points when this document dropped a few days ago. This is what everyone was all astonished by, you know, other than the part about the smearing of the feces and eating of the feces. On one occasion, tell you what, I'll be nice and we'll put it here. Okay. On one occasion, Alan confessed to molesting 2 young girls and shooting them in the back. See attached transcribed statement of inmate companion Lacey Patton Jr. Molesting 2 young girls and shooting them in the back. On another occasion, he professed his sorrow for molesting Abby and Libby and others, which he specifically named. It's Michael Roberts. Now, the defense alleges that these are known to be falsities because they are not supported by the autopsy findings of Dr. Roland Kaur as to the cause of death, and unsupported by the absence of any evidence that either one of the girls were sexually assaulted near or before the time of deaths. And then there are attached the autopsy reports, which unfortunately we don't have. Okay, so let me do this. We'll take a look at the chat before we go on. Okay. This is inhumane treatment of a man technically not convicted yet. Okay, he is a pretrial detainee, innocent until proven guilty. They designed facilities for these tactics. We really need to wake up. Yes. I mean, I have a what is it called? I have a question for you, Four Pits. What is hell on earth? What is hell on earth? Welcome in, Mike. They lean hard on people. They are pros at this tactic. Yeah. That's like treatment, torture. You're unaware whether it's night or day. Yeah, that's why he could stay up for several days, because for it's pretty much all just day and night go away because the lights are constantly on, and he could have a very small window slit that he's not even paying attention to. The sheriff ordered the treatment by handing him over to DOC. Welcome in, nobody, nothing. Insanity is hell. Yeah, so is prison. That's what I'm getting at. Prison. Hell on earth. It'll be interesting to see what the result is. Now, um, so here's what I want to say. There's not one of us, not a single one of us, who knows whether this man is involved in this crime or not. Okay? And I told you earlier, I know we're going to lose some people tonight, and I don't care. I don't care. Because what I've been witnessing is I am surrounding by complete fundamentalist lunatics. And I think it's time for some tough talk, okay? We got to be the grown-ups in the room here. There's not one of us. There's not one of us who has any idea whatsoever about Alan's innocence or guilt in this crime. Whether he was completely innocent, whether he was completely guilty, whether he was somehow involved. And as I take a survey of this social media landscape, it's highly troubling. Because I consider myself a somewhat rational person, as rational as the next guy. And I've been engaged in the study of this crime for years. I've been concerned with it. I still am concerned with it. I think you should go look at my weird shit post on my community page. I think there's a lot to be concerned about. And I've spoken with all sides, okay, all sides. I've spoken for hours and hours and hours with all sides. I don't have to name who I've spoken to or with, but I'll put it this way. I've spoken with people who are absolutely convinced that Richard Allen is the lone wolf murderer of Abby and Libby, simply because he is charged for their murders, simply because he looks like he's guilty. Okay? Is that lunacy? Yeah. Is it lunacy to say you believe the cops? Yes, yes. because that's not the system that exists. Okay, the system is not a system in which the cops say you killed someone, so that means you killed them and you are guilty. Okay, but conversely, I've spoken hours and hours and hours and hours with people on the other side who would bet their lives on the fact that Richard Allen is completely innocent, not only of murdering Abby and Libby, but of having any part whatsoever in the situation that led to their deaths. Okay? So I would ask you, what is extremism? Because if you were to ask me, I would say this is the problem with our world. This is the problem with our country. This is the problem with our lives today. To be so completely invested, to be so completely convinced of your rightness when you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? So if you were to take, for example, politics, because this crime here, this social dynamic that we are observing, all it is a political. It's an example. Okay. It's a prime example of what I'm talking about. Were you to look at politics, you have people on either side who are absolutely extremist. We saw a lot of it in the build-up to the China virus, the COVID virus. Call it what you will. We saw that complete irrational fundamentalism on either side of the aisle, right? Among people warring in the streets. Then you take a look at this subset here called Delphi murders. You see the same thing. Okay, you, like I mentioned, you have people on one side who say Richard Allen is completely innocent, has no connection to anyone, has no connection to the crime, uh, nothing whatsoever, and they are 100% convinced of their beliefs. And like I mentioned, you look at the other side, 100% convinced that he is the murderer of Abby and Libby. He held the knife. He cut their bodies. He moved their bodies. He threw the sticks. He's a rich guy. He walked down the street. He went back in his car. He went home. And I would ask you, how in the fuck do you know about his involvement or lack thereof? Okay, because here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the fact that yes, he's charged. Okay, so he is charged. I'm looking at the fact that in this charging information, in this PCA, in the limited revelations from the discovery that have been indicated to us by defense filings, there appears to be hardly nothing. Okay. You look through that stuff and you say, wow, it's not much there. It's a very bad PCA. According to the defense filings, there's not much there, but you look at it that way. Okay, so that's those would be indicators of guilt. Okay, that evidence that would have been publicly disclosed. But we know for certain we're looking at a case in which transparency has been at a minimum. Okay. So the fact that any evidence is disclosed whatsoever is pretty astonishing, and it's pretty, the assumption should lean towards the side of, because of the lack of transparency, you should expect less than more. Okay, then you look at the other side. What evidence of innocence could possibly exist? Alibis? No, there's no alibis. Now, what there is, though, is this Frank's memorandum, and not only the Frank's memorandum, but there's the entire 7 years of information that has been open source, right? You have all the things that for years people have been looking at, whether it be all the anomalies, all the community members who have been POIs, the odd fucking behavior of the family, the inconsistent statements and the inconsistencies. You've had a lot of intelligence come out into the social media, World Wide Web, internet world, YouTubes, Facebooks, and all the above that indicate some situation that involves more than one person. Lots of this points directly towards some sort of mixture of Kokomo crew, Vinlander, family relations, meth dealing, Dropbox perverts. I mean, hey, I offer it up to you. I offer it up to you. We've known for years that there, right? Is there anything indicating that Richard Allen is part of that? Not really. So where I am is in a place where I'm looking like any rational person should. I'm looking towards trial and saying, look, here's one thing I bet. I bet you that there is evidence that we don't know about that will be presented in a court of law. Okay? Exculpatory, inculpatory. Okay? What does this mean? This means that there is evidence yet to make it into your conscious awareness. Well, why is that important? Well, because you don't know what you don't know. Remember that saying, the old folks? Old folks used to love to say that. Those are the unknown unknowns, right? There are the known knowns. There are the known unknowns. And there are the unknown unknowns. And I think that what we're looking at here is that you are looking at a situation where you have an individual on one side. You have so many people who are absolutely convinced because he was charged by the state, he's the killer of these two victims. That's all that's necessary for them, for these people. Okay, then you have this other side that says, based upon what they know, they're absolutely convinced he's 100% innocent, not involved whatsoever in the murders of these girls. Well, what they're failing to realize is they have not seen the evidence that the state is going to present yet. Okay, so you really have a conundrum here. And in my opinion, if you're going to be the adult in the room, you have to take a sober look at the situation and say, you don't fucking know a thing. You don't know a thing about this man. Okay, you don't know a thing. There's no way you could know because there are unknown unknowns. You don't know what might be presented. So does that mean you can't have theories and ideas? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Because what I'm talking about right here is extremism, extremities. Okay. I'm saying anyone who is absolutely convinced of his innocence is a fucking lunatic. Anyone who is absolutely convinced of his guilt is a fucking lunatic. Okay, because if you were to step back and accept in yourselves that you don't know, okay, we do not know, then you can be free to have your theories and opinions. And that's where I stand. I have my theories and opinions. Now, as the adult in the room, I have to look at everyone and I have to say this. I have to understand that people are like children in this age. Okay, people are like children. So I have to understand that all these people on this side who say he's absolutely, completely guilty, well, that's just their immaturity poking through because they're assheads. You know, they're like children. Okay. They believe in Papa State so much that they believe he's charged and he looks guilty, so he must be guilty. And then you have these assholes, okay, on this side. They believe he's completely fucking innocent, okay? And all I can do is I can accept them saying, like, that's just their immaturity, okay? That's just their complete fucking immaturity. What I have to do as the adult in the room, I have to say, okay, well, can't blame either side. Okay, I can't blame them. I can't blame these folks right here. Okay, because these folks that say he's completely innocent, what they actually mean is they don't fucking know. Okay. And their theory or their feeling is that he's most likely innocent. You know. Just the way that I have to look at these other asshats and say, okay, well, they're just childlike. Okay. What it actually is they just don't know. So what they mean to say is, well, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he's probably guilty because he's charged by the state. And so there comes a time to put the water on the fire, you know. And it's it's a point I want to make. It's something I want to say is, look, guys, you can feel how you can feel. You can feel like you can feel. Feelings are good. Theories are good. Opinions are good. Hypotheses are good. But understand what you are saying, okay? Because when you look back, okay, when all the cards laid on the table, things are made clear if they ever are, where do you want to be? I'm pretty sure you want to be someone who looked at everything that was presented and had some sort of understanding of the process and of the context so that you can look and you can say, well, just like you would look at any situation in your life, you can look at it all and say, okay, well, I can see this and I can see this and for the greater good and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. And I think that's what would help us all, okay? Because I've always felt with this case here, there's something awry, okay? Now, why is it difficult for me? Well, it's difficult for me because I'm not convinced on Alan one way or the other. I really am not. But what I am convinced of is that something has stunk from day one, okay? And hey, it's my feeling. I'm entitled to my feeling and my opinion and the way that I see it. And the way that I see it, from day one, I've been highly suspicious of every aspect of this case. Family, all. And I mean all. I mean every single family member. I am not mincing my words here. I mean every fucking single family member. Every single cop. And now that we're in the court system, every single person in the prosecutor's office, every single judge, okay, so I think there's a way that we can look at this and say, look, it's very clear that something ain't right, okay? No matter Alan, okay, you take Alan, you put Alan aside, okay, let's take Alan, set him aside. I think it's extremely clear at this point in time, and it has been for many years, pretty much the whole time, something ain't right here. And it's really, if you look at every single aspect of this case, something ain't right. Okay, you look at this family, like I said. You look at the prosecution, the law enforcement, the court. You look at the social media. Okay, you think about this. Have you ever seen a case where the social media warfare is so intense, where people are so fucking crazy, where the trolling is so fucking crazy? People always say one thing. Yes, Summer Wells. People say Summer Wells. Summer Wells. Okay, so that's one out of millions. I've broken down for you for a year now how all of the trolls, all, are locals. I don't know how much more convincing it's going to take. How much more convincing do you need to understand the words that all of the trolls are locals? Sure, there's the one or two creators who are paid. Okay, there's the one or two creators who are out of state that clearly seem to be incentivized in some way. But as far as the warfare, the troll warfare, they're all locals. Imagine that. So you got questions about the family, questions about the law enforcement, questions about the cover up, questions about the trolls. You got questions, okay? That's the context into which Richard Allen is placed here. Okay, so with all of that context, how in the fuck do you decide upon Richard Allen? You cannot. And I will tell you another thing. I look at these state actors, okay? What do we know about the prosecutor and the law enforcement and the judge and the other judge? Oh, and then there's the other judge too, Fouts, don't forget him. Well, we know the law enforcement lied. We know Liggett lied. We know Toby's is shady as hell. Okay. I mean, is Tobe Leatherby not the most shadiest motherfucker you ever met? Shane Evans too. Okay, you got Shane Evans, fucking Tobe Leatherby. Come on. Then you got Nick McClelland. Shady as fucking hell, right? Then you have the actions that we have witnessed from Nick McClelland. What do I mean by that? The delays, the extreme delays in handing over discovery that he's obligated to hand over. The resistance to handing over discovery. The playing stupid about shit that he should not. Okay? Then you have the judge. Unprecedented. Okay, what is she going to do in response to what we just read here? Okay, what is she going to do in response to that? Now, what kind of facts are we dealing with? Because we have not seen autopsies. Are there bullet holes in those girls? He says he says he shot. Okay, we're going to find bullet holes. He says he molested. Are we gonna find sex SA? I mean, I think that would be pretty clear. If he says he shot, there's no bullet holes where he didn't shoot. If he says he molested, there's no SA. Then there's no SA. With the suspicious way in which this prosecutor has behaved, it would not surprise me that this prosecutor wait until the absolute minute to provide even more discovery. Mark my words. Is it impossible that this prosecutor may wait until the absolute last minute and drop more discovery right onto the defense? So what I'm getting at here is the extremes. Okay, the extremes. Why is it that, as with everything else in our society, we're at extremes? We are at extremes. So have your opinions, have your thoughts, your theories, but you don't know. You don't know. Neither do I. Okay. I have my thoughts. Every time I share my thoughts, I get nothing but hate, beating. I get beat. I get hated. I get yelled at, called stupid. Both sides too. It's the most amazing thing. It's the most amazing thing. But I have my thoughts. Sure, you have yours. But try not to be one of those. Okay? Because man, I can't stomach it. I really can't. I really can't stomach it. Saying that this guy is totally, completely guilty or totally, completely innocent. It's the most ignorant and shameful display that I could imagine. Like I just wonder what's in your brains. I look at you and I say, wow. Like how could you do this to yourself to say something on in such an extreme way like that, on one side or the other? Now, let trial come. Let evidence be presented. Let evidence be defended. Okay, let this sort of process actually play out, and where you have a viewing of the evidence. I mean, it's like this. If I'm going to get a new puppy, I'm going to meet the puppy first. I want to meet the child, the puppy. I want to say, hey, look, it's puppy. Okay, nice. Does he bite? Does he, is he aggressive? Is he stinky? Does he have a jaw mouth? I want to meet the puppy and then decide like where I stand with after meeting the puppy. I want to meet the caretakers. If I'm going to buy a house, I want to go and view the house. I want to have a viewing. I want to weigh in the balance and the scales. I want to weigh. So let's do that. Let's do that. I mean, hey, this whole time, okay, all of you who are information obsessed, I'm sure that for years you've been gathering information, storing it in the storehouse, screenshotting, doing your whole deal, right? Doing your whole fucking Delphi murders deal. Okay, so you got all this shit, right? So with all that shit in mind, why don't you have all this shit in mind, and then let's look at the evidence that's presented, and let's look at the defense of that evidence, and let's weigh both experts, and then blah 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 blah. Let's go through the whole thing, and then come out on the other side and say, hey, after a viewing of all of that with what I already know and with the whole context and the whole deal, this is what I feel. Um, and then being convinced, okay, then at that point, being convinced would make a lot more sense. Because at this point, but I bet you this case will not end. It will not end. It will not end. Okay, so whether Alan walks, whether Alan is found guilty, whatever may happen with Richard Allen, case will not end. In your lifetime, this case will not end. I guarantee you. How could it? So, hey, all the ones over here on the law enforcement side, they've hated me already. They've hated me for a year. They've hated me for a year. All of you over here on the defensive side, I guess you hate me now. Guess you hate me now. And you've hated me for a month anyway, so fuck you guys anyway. Fuck everyone. Okay. I mean, I've never encountered such a maniacal bunch of extremists on either side. And I can do nothing right. I can do nothing right. No matter how hard I work, how much communicating I do, I can do nothing right. So. All right, let me say hello to the chat. I'm going to get off the soapbox. I just wanted to have a little adult conversation because, I mean, the shit that I'm seeing, and it's been escalating. It's just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we got to grow up here. We got to grow up, admit that we don't know everything. Okay? Feelings are not facts. Okay, let me take a look at this chat and try to at least include some of you guys. For Pitt says the even the most vile criminals even cave. Yeah, with those abuse tactics. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Mrs. Stone, welcome, Mrs. Stone. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Lambert Coe says there's no excuse for law enforcement to do all this illegal shit if they had legit evidence against RA. Why break all the rules to get him if he actually did this? Furthermore, he's not capable alone. Well, hey, I don't agree and I don't disagree. Okay, let's pick that apart. There is an excuse for law enforcement, okay, because let's say they absolutely know he's guilty. Okay, let's play devil's advocate here. Let's say law enforcement absolutely knows he's guilty, at least of being a part of it. It would make sense why they would try to stack the deck, because you could say, well, if they're emotional and passionate about it, yes, they could try to stack the deck because they really want him to not get out of this if they know he's guilty. Okay, but then you could look at it the other way too. You could look at it the other way and say, hey, if they got a weak fucking case, that's what you're doing. You're saying, why are they breaking all the rules? And it, if they got a weak fucking case, well, yeah, that could also be a reality too. In either case, is it right? No. In either case, it's wrong. Okay, so for them to do what they appear to have been doing, it's absolutely wrong. Whether they're convinced of his guilt or don't have shit on him and are trying to have a fall guy. Now you say he's not capable alone. Well, I've thought a lot about that. And it's a difficult question. It's a difficult question because you really got to think. Okay. Is he capable alone? Yes, he's capable alone. Is it likely that it was done by one person alone? No, it's not. Okay. How could someone be capable alone? Well, with a firearm in one hand and a knife in the other. Stranger things have been known to happen. Okay, so it's possible that it could have been done. However, how do you explain if Libby was moved any more than 6 inches? I mean, that's what I look at as not capable. No one's moving Libby after she's deceased more than a little bit. Okay. Now, the other thing that comes to mind here is what makes it less likely? Well, why would anyone doing this alone, okay, if you really thought about it, if someone did this by themselves, if Richard Allen did it by himself, he has a gun to control the girls, okay, then he cuts them, then somehow he doesn't leave a lot of blood, but he moves them. Why on earth would he take the time after just unaliving these two girls? Why would he take the time to then fuck around? And you know what I mean? Changing their clothes, putting sticks on them, posing them, putting sticks on them, then putting sticks on one, and then putting sticks on the other, and then having to exit out of there. I mean, nothing makes sense as far as him doing it alone, much less anyone doing it alone. So I agree with you in my thoughts, but I want to separate my thoughts from what could be fact. So what could be fact is, yeah, it could be fact that one person could do it alone. But do I think Richard Allen did it alone? No, no. Plus, why? Like, if one person were to do this, you would expect to see something different. I would. I would expect to see something hastily done. In other words, one person does it really quickly, somehow manages to pull it off, but there's no moving of bodies. There's no staging of bodies. There's no putting sticks. There's no not leaving evidence. One person does this alone, it's going to be frantic. It's going to be uh, get the fuck out of there immediately. I just don't buy it. That in the way that we see they were left, and the way that there's just all. If you take the whole picture for one person to do it, no, no. I just want the truth, whatever that may be. Yes, that's what I say. I don't care. I mean, I really don't. I do care about not railroading. Okay, what do I care about? Not railroading this guy. Um, I care about due process, a vigorous defense, and a very thorough trial and showing of evidence and weighing of evidence. And I believe in that. And whatever the truth is throughout that, then that's great. Whatever it is, I have no dog in the fight. Until trial, we don't have all the evidence. No, we don't. Old Mart, welcome in, Old Mart. Okay, saying hello to you. Yeah, now you're talking about Elvis Fields. I mean, that's a whole other thing. That's what I say, that every time the defense files a major document, it incorporates Frank's memorandum into itself. Again, it's done it. It's been several times already. They're not letting go of that Frank's memorandum. It really gives one pause. I just got called the nastiest, most vile person. Putting smack down on Jerry Holman. Good point, Old Mart. Yeah, the defense has zero obligation to prove innocence. No, it's only guilt that must be proven. Right. But that's what happens in a court of law. That's what I keep reiterating to everyone is, have we gotten to court yet? I mean, trial? Have we gotten to trial? No. The confession to his sisters. Oh yeah, Elvis. Everything about Elvis and everything about Amber Holder. I mean, listen to Amber Holder. That's why I did the whole episode on Amber Holder. I mean, you listen to Amber Holder and you listen to Elvis's sisters. Something's up here. Plus, Stephanie Thompson's dead. Why is she dead? We are all victims of our emotions. We are, and they've used this case. Like I said, this case has been it's sort of a psyop since day one. And I don't mean a psyop as far as it never happened. I mean a psyop as far as social media. Okay, so what is media in this age, 2024? How about 2020? How about 2019, 2018, 2021, 22, 23? Okay, in these years, what is media? It is social media. Social media is media. Okay. Welcome in, Cappy Lover. I still don't know, wish they would televise the trial. Yes. I mean, it would be extremely pertinent to have allow the transparency when there has been none. Let's have it now. Let's have transparency. Bottom line is digital evidence. Problem occurs where LEOs didn't collect it. Yeah, where's all the family cell phone data? How do you establish a timeline without that? It's impossible. You're not going to tell me the Harvest Store camera alone. So you want me to believe that the Harvest Store camera alone is going to establish this timeline? No, I need proof. The family's words are not proof. Now, show me the digital forensics from the entire family cell phones and anyone else who was at the bridge that day. Show me that shit. Sounds like it's bullshit, doesn't it? Sounds like they're trying to pull something. I'm treading until court starts. That's my feeling. Then I'll cross the threshold of being wrong or right. Don't absolutely know he's innocent or guilty, just not 100. Well, good, Bobby. If you're dug in on one side, there's no room for discussion, and you're not learning anything new. Yeah, C-Star. That's where I'm trying to get through to some thick skulls right now. It's like, look, fuck you. You don't know. So stop trying to come at me like you know, because you don't. The preponderance of evidence points to others with more reasons in history such crimes are responsible. Could RA have been a pawn? Yes. I want all of them, not a patsy. Well, boom. I'll go with that one 100,000%. Oh, look, Amy beat me to it. Yeah, boom. Yeah, 100,000%, Lambert. Okay. Sonic landscapes. You have the closest to my own theory. I can be swayed if proof presents itself. I'll be the first to say I was 100% wrong. The town ain't right. It's fucking inbred. Yeah. Now here's where we're getting to the German bloodlines, and they want to keep it that way. This is worse than Summer Wells, is what you're saying. Well, thank you for letting me know, because I don't follow Summer Wells, but I have opinions. Now listen, here's my deal. I have opinions on Summer Wells. But do you think I'm going to state my opinions and try to get all the fucking shit that I got for Delphi? No, I'll stick with all the shit I'm getting for Delphi. Okay. I've never witnessed a case with this level of crazy. I've been in true crime community for over 10 years. Yeah. Well, hey, we've all gotten death threats, right? I mean, this shit is nuts. And like I'm saying to you, it's all locals. I mean, take note, Mrs. Stone. It is all locals. It's a mind fuck, says Cappy Lover. Tobe and Shane give Slick Nick blows. All right, so I'm trying to catch up with you guys. No, this trial, that's what I said earlier. This trial will not, this will not end the Delphi murders. Like, this will never end because it's pretty clear to everyone that there are more involved. You want to know my guesstimate? Would everyone in the chat like to know my guesstimate? I'm thinking your average number is 7. Okay, I think you got 7 involved. Could be as high as 15, though. Could be as low as 3. But in my opinion, in this crime, you probably have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I believe you're dealing with quite a number of individuals, not just one. Because no one has integrity anymore. Yeah, well, everyone wants to be right, and everyone wants to choose a team and be a superstar in the team. And it's really annoying to me because I'm looking at people who otherwise would be good people. Okay, otherwise would be good people. But what do I see? I see myself surrounded by extremists. I was going to quote a song. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. The infestation by the satanic cults have led to all this corruption. Many who decide how this go are members. That's why we cannot make sense of it. We are looking at evil, trying to make sense of it. The judge is a protection between civilian and state corruption. Their actions dictate whether the jury gets to see the entire raw truth. A judge will swing a case. Well, this one is definitely leaning on the nuts of the prosecution. It's disgusting. I write my opinions, not carved in stone. In pencil. Yeah. Because pencils have erasers, and you can go back and change. Thanks, Shibby. I'll remind you of your brother. Okay, both sides will be right and wrong. Public viewing of evidence. And once it plays out, if you're right by thinking he was innocent, then the shame belongs to the other side, as so many suspect. Peter Taylor. Welcome in, Peter Taylor. Okay. Always go with your gut. Okay. I'm trying to catch up with you guys here. C-Star, do you have an opinion on Evansdale murders and if it may be related to Delphi? By the way, I don't hate you. Well, thanks for not hating me. I don't think there's enough to have an opinion on that. I mean, I think there are similarities, but there's similarities with many murders. I talked to someone very knowledgeable and who has visited the crime scene there in Evansdale. I think what's interesting is that you're talking about a place 10 times more rural, if that's imaginable. You're talking about a similarity. I will give you that, but it's extremely much more rural, and I just don't know. I mean, the fact is, if it is, then you have serial killers, right? If it is, all we know is we don't know. Court needed, very overdue. Yes, exactly. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one. Be funny if Doug Carter meant testicles because he likes men. Thank you, Sonic. Thank you, Sonic Landscape. I wonder where's people curiosity is. It's healthy skepticism. I felt the same way during COVID. It's called personal responsibility. We have to be our own investigators in order to not be sheep who get taken advantage of and used as a mean to somebody's end. Yes. And you know what? Speaking of that, ivermectin actually worked. Okay. And Pfizer lied to you, and your government lied to you, and ivermectin works. Prof has been an excellent voice. I think the world of him after all we've been through. Thank you, Fort Pitts. Yeah, Fort Pitts started with threatening to come to my house and whip my ass. But you see, that's where I respond to people how they respond to me and come at me. So if you're threatening me, you're a threat to me. If you're helpful, friendly to me, then you're helpful, friendly to me. He says, I take it as it is. And I don't hold grudges, despite what some people will have you believe. Right? I mean, the chaos agents of Delphi YouTube. Definitely the closest creator whose theory resembles my own. Bob Mott is close as well. No one follows the code of law anymore. Highly unlikely to accomplish all alone in the timeline that has been presented. I feel like it's a responsibility to truth and each other, as well as to ourselves and our families, to live in truth and bring to light. Doing this is more important than the consequences. Yeah, I hate that people get so pissed. People are absolutely terrible. You know, it's the social media age. People are terrible to each other because there's a lack of humanity because it's a cold medium. Just like the texting, you know, you text, there's no nuance and subtlety, and so text uh, lends itself to miscommunication and and hard feelings and misinterpretation. Text is a terrible medium for communicating. So is social media. Thank you, C Star. Thank you for the super chat. I'll give you a round of applause. Thank you. Much respect to you. Thank you for your lovely support here. I appreciate that. Much respect to you too. Others are involved. Ellie playing the 7-year waiting game, gathering. Yeah, I feel the same, Mike. I think we have I think FBI. Okay, you really want to know my personal feeling is FBI's watching, waiting. Coffee addiction. Thank you. Yeah, the coffee's wearing out, C Star. Coffee's wearing out. I'm getting tired. We're only 2 hours in. I'm already tired. Thank you very much, though. Okay. People simply cannot escape leaving digital evidence. We are intrinsically intertwined or entwined with the digital world. Just needs to be harvested, investigated, analyzed properly. Where's all the family's data? Look, I'm not going to stop saying this. Where is all the family's data when people have suspected the family of not being completely honest and transparent for 7 fucking years? You're meaning to tell me there's no data from the families? Where are the interviews? Where are the interviews? Where's the fucking digital forensic for the family? Get the fuck out of here. If you're trying to convince me that you're going to have a timeline with no forensics from the family, that's bullshit. A Harvest Store camera is not going to convince me or any juror that your timeline is correct. Why does every single piece of evidence in the PCA have serious questions of validity? Because it's a bullshit PCA and it's full of lies and misrepresentations and gaslighting. There's no legitimate excuse to lie and delete evidence to convict one man, drain the blood, and move them. I don't think so. I can't see it. Good night, Frenchie. I don't know how long ago that was, but good night, Frenchie. I apologize for missing. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. Okay, something mind-boggling when the family is doing the psyoping. This case has exposed to me how much the law can be disregarded and ignored, how important it is for it to be adhered to. Yes, I agree. I mean, a lot of the cops don't even, I mean, guys, look, I'm not going to describe my life experiences to you, but a lot of cops, most of the cops don't know the law. Lawyers know the law. Cops don't know the law. What about Megan Allen and her mother, Tina Rodell? You just do not make such statements. No, you don't, because Tina's telling the truth and always has been. Okay. It's a platform for justice wherever it may lead or whoever it may point directly without a doubt. But that's not to say the investigation was on the up and up. No, I think it's a cover up. I mean, my personal feeling, see, here's where we get into personal feelings. My personal feeling, it's a fucking cover up from the beginning, from day one. That's the thing. If it's a cover up from day one, well, we're 7 years later, 7 years of cover up. I think you could go back and forth between mirrors and a cemetery without passing a camera. Yes, that's true. Yes. You will not pass a camera. When we find the motive, we find who is responsible. Lambert Co. gets a party horn from Prof. Wow, 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 wow. Truth is all that matters, not our opinions or beliefs. The truth should lead us. Also, the family still has no justice. Well, maybe it's the family's fault. I mean, have you ever thought that what is justice for the family? If the family has been lying and helping to cover up for 7 years, what is justice for the family? Is it bad? Perhaps justice for the family is a bad situation. People have exposed their self-interest, incentives, and motivations through their behavior. Just James, welcome in, Just James. Sorry to just catch you. I'm trying to catch up with this chat. Almost done. Welcome in. What we are seeing is what happens when satanic cults call the shots and hide themselves in plain view. Normal thinking American people, LEOs, and judges do not think or act this way. Thank you, Just James, for being nice. Thank you. All right. Oh, good night, Bobby. Okay, good night, Bobby. We're almost out of here too. I'm gonna call it early evening tonight. Good night, Bobby. Yeah, investigate the investigation. That's what the FBI is doing. All right, Bobby. Good night. Here's my thought. It's a win-win. RA guilty, not guilty. The case closed. True killers are protected. Free to repeat. I think that's been the goal all along, Peter Taylor. That's where we agree. I think that this whole arrest of Richard Allen was meant to make this go away forever. Okay, it's my opinion, but this is made to make the Delphi murders case go away forever. But unfortunately for them, it ain't never going away forever until everyone's addressed. Where are Kelsey's 7 interviews? So Randy did a whole video on Derek being at Wilson Bridge today. Yeah, was it bullshit though? Was he saying it's because he went the back way like Becky says? I mean, no. The FBI had at least 4 CIs at January 6th. How many you think they got in the Finlanders? Welcome in, Brittany. Police around here don't know the law either. They make shit up as they go, prof. That's what I'm saying. Even here in my town, like, they don't know the fucking law. They're just police. Like, they're trying to make their $28 an hour or whatever. They don't know the law. Why do you think Patrick Westphal said the recruits had to go get background checks and PIs following them? I can't believe how they're getting away with what they're doing to Richard Allen. People need to wake up. Yeah, well, I want to chime in on that. See, I think that's where people get the shit twisted. Okay, because yeah, I agree with this. Okay, because no matter what, see, one thing you cannot say you know whether Richard Allen's 100% guilty. You cannot say whether you know Richard Allen's 100% innocent. But what you can say is 100% that Richard Allen is not being treated humanely by being thrust into this situation and this environment as a pretrial detainee. It's absolutely inhumane. It could happen to any of us. It could happen to your mother. Let's say you, sir or ma'am, let's say your mother is a 72-year-old little old lady who goes to church every Sunday and puts the little curlers or the little whatever curlers in her hair. Okay, nice little old church lady, your mother. Let's say she gets arrested and she's thrown into Westville in a solitary unit wearing a paper thin gown that's pretty much see through and getting served her meals to sit on the mattress on the floor. Let's say that's your 72-year-old mother. Would you be okay with that as a pretrial detainee? People don't ever think in absolutes. Look, Richard Allen could be a 72-year-old mother, and let's say that little old lady is put in that facility where Richard Allen, would it be okay then? And she's got the rollers in her hair on Sunday. She goes to church. She makes fruit cakes and cornbread. What if it was your mother? Would you be okay with her being in the same environment that Richard Allen is in, treated the same way that Richard Allen is treated, walked around the same way that Richard Allen is walked around? I don't think you would. I don't think the most evil motherfucker on the side of the state would. Okay? All these law enforcement friendly fucking YouTubers. What if it was their mother? They'd have a problem with it then, wouldn't they? Welcome in, Teresa. Welcome in, Teresa. Oh, don't go back to the beginning, Teresa. Just watch now. Okay. They had Family's Electronics. Anna stated they took all our electronics in the beginning. Another deletion, lost or whatever. How can anybody think Ellie is legit with anything they say? I don't. I believe Ellie is part of a cover-up of these crimes, obviously. I mean, isn't it obvious to most people at this point? Law enforcement is covering up these murders. Okay, thank you, Just James. I think part of the reason is that her daughter agreed to the situation, wanted to join the club. Oh, you mean Megan Allen? Yeah. I just have to say, I'm delighted to have caught this live. I miss talking to you all. I really value you guys and the unique space that you've created here, Prof. Well, thank you, Mrs. Stone. 99. Thank you for joining, and thank you for your kind words. This is your chat. Becky is feeding the crew to keep the heat off of them. Yeah, what did Derek have to do with this crime? What did Derek have to do with this shit? What about Julian Powell? What about Mark Palladino? Jason? Garrett Kurtz? Ashley Garth? Kelsey? Cheyenne and Shelby? Why are you all lying? Cops know the local ordinance. Yeah. I agree. I'm on the outside looking in from Scotland. The Wicker Man comes to mind, Prof. I mean, I've posted so much shit on my community page past few days. You guys should really go check it out. The weird shit. Too many people still running around whose names were on those lists. Yeah, backroads, yada yada. I thought it was interesting that they wanted that information out there prior to the geofencing phone data becoming public. Oh, so Randy was doing that? Well, you know Randy's fucking troll farm. So that's why I was asking, because anything he's doing, it's like a damage control. So because I talked about it, I bet you Randy's hitting on that because I was talking about it recently, which means I need to talk about it more. Okay, so why would okay, Randy, yo, Randy, grab it, you lying motherfucker. Why was Derek at Wilson Bridge? Was he part of some CI situation going down in the woods at Wilson Bridge where them girls ended up murdered? Is that what happened, Randy? Is that why his phone pinged there? Is that why they made the whole fucking story about him going the back way, Randy? Was it because they had to cover up the fact that his phone was there because he accidentally made a call from that fucking Wilson Bridge when they were all down there doing what the fuck they did when them girls ended up dead? You won't fuck me, Randy. You won't fuck me over, bud. None of your friends either. My mom is 85, even worse. Yeah, imagine if it's your mom with the little curlers in her hair, the little rollers, whatever. She goes to church on Sundays. She's 85 years old. She can hardly walk. Imagine her being Richard Allen, where he is, treated how he is. It could happen. The family threw us curveballs for those in the back. All right, Roxy Malone, Tracy, look, Tracy, you fucking come in here again. I'm going to put your name out. I asked you to leave me alone. Stop slandering me. So here you go, Tracy. This is what you're going to get. This is what you're going to get, Tracy. Fuck off. All right. Okay, I had to get rid of a roach. I had a cockroach in here. Got rid of her. Okay. A fucking cockroach. She can keep fucking with me if she wants. These officials have forgotten that they took an oath to protect and serve us, not themselves or each other. There really is at least 4 different law enforcement CSI scoured the crime scene for 4 days, and LE expects us to believe that some pedestrian found what dozens of trained LEOs could not, a mystery bullet. Yeah, and I have a question. Did Cody break in and get that bullet? Prof, you heard the story about Kelsey and Derek meeting at Wilson's Bridge because he had a car trouble, was running late. Kelsey came back and they both ended up at Wilson Bridge at the same time. No, would you please, can you detail that story down below or email it to me? Because I have not heard that except, see, there's some things that I cannot talk about, but perhaps you know my theory. Perhaps you know my theory that Kelsey, Derek, Ashley, Garrett, Tony were all down there at Wilson Bridge. Perhaps you know that theory. Lies from day one. Yeah, please check my community post. It's called Weird Shot. I mean, weird shit. Weird shit. Hey, Mandy. I told you it wasn't blocked. Welcome in, Mandy. Thanks for coming back, Mandy. We miss you. Look. Julian Powell makes an appearance on my weird shit post. Go dig through them. You'll find it. Oh, all right, guys. Well, I have caught up with the chat, so that means it's almost time to get out of here. Almost time to get out of here, y'all. Thanks for participating. Almost time to get out. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I can't believe that asshole would try to come in here and sabotage my chat. I told her to leave me the fuck alone. She won't leave me alone. She will not leave me alone. Absolute psychotic. This woman, okay, this same woman, she lied to all of you out there about that helicopter. You know, we'll talk about it at some point in the future. What a fucking nutcase. Absolute fucking nutcase. Okay. Grab it, Randy. Yeah, Randy can fuck off. I know what he's trying to pull. I know what he's trying to do, and sorry, Randy. Shouldn't have been troll farm. You should have made better decisions. You decided to be troll farm and cover up the murders of these two fucking baby girls. You're full of shit. I'll never forgive you. And you got to make it right. And you might have fooled a lot of people, but you haven't fooled me. And you also haven't fooled some of my buds. Okay, we know, Randy. You fucked up. All right. There really is an all too prevalent us versus them attitude rampant among law enforcement today. I get that they get worn out and bitter from dealing with the dregs of society constantly for years. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, James. It's kind of bad. It's kind of, you know what they do? Okay, because look, I supported law enforcement my whole fucking life, but I'm telling you, at this point in my life, I'm fucking sick of them. You know what they do? They escalate. Okay, so every time law enforcement comes into situations, instead of de-escalating, they escalate, and that's where they can fuck off. Okay, they come in to every situation they come into, and they escalate the situation. And you know what? People get dead and in jail because they come into the situations. What did I say? People get dead and in jail because they come into situations and they escalate them instead of de-escalating. And that's where law enforcement can fuck the fuck off. Hello, late to the party. I mean, they're giving new meaning to ACAB. Can you believe the Patties chose Randy Gravitt to be their team leader? Yeah, but you're right, Just James. That's what they sign up for the fucking $28 an hour. Yeah, I want to hear that story, Old Mort. No doubt. Because I had not heard that except my one source who told me the situation, which is not that story. That story would be a cover for the situation. Okay, so I wish all of you had been in my previous Discord because I covered my theory. I've never really covered my theory over here on the YouTubes, but in my Discord, I have my whole theory laid out, bullet points and everything. Cheers, old Mort Newmort. Thank you. Good night, Mrs. Stone. Okay. They say Julian Power could do crazy things with cell phone data, clone phones. Yeah, he's like a fucking evil genius weirdo. Ain't none of us paying attention to her. Psycho. Tell you what that woman does. She spreads rumors and rumors and rumors and rumors and rumors and lies and lies and rumors and lies and gossip and rumors and lies. Sick of her. She just get the fuck away from me. It's all she has to do is just like go the fuck away somewhere else. No one cares, man. Okay. Okay. A badge will create a narcissist. I ain't got nothing for the popo either. And when I'm in a bad situation, I don't call 911. I handle So, Second Amendment for a reason. All right. Waco. Yeah. What up, Carol? You coming in mighty late, Carol. Where the hell you been? Where the hell you been, Carol? Coming in late. Unspent bullets. Unspent bullet points. Carol. Oh, you bought Randy Gravett groceries? Oof. You must have to buy two baskets. All right. Shabby. Shibby. I'm going to call you Shabby from now on. I know you didn't mean that, Mrs. Stone, but oh, did you? That was a good one. That was a good one. Shabby. All right, Brittany. All right. So, yes, he had a tech business not far from KK's house. It's very possible he worked on KK's phone computers. Could make it look like phones were being used from locations they weren't. Says digital. Wow. The sponges support the family to get the crumbs. Hmm. In my experience, generally speaking, a call to law enforcement only makes things worse. Oh, they'll come and escalate the fuck out of their situation. Someone's going to end up dead or in jail, which is what they want. You would think. In LA, they are having problems with sheriffs, deputies joining gangs. They were showing some of the tattoos on TV. Of course, because you know why they do it? The paycheck. Why are they doing this to RA when his treatment has never happened in 50 years? Why has RA been selected to be treated this way? Are they afraid of what he might say? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, whether he's involved or not, the treatment is completely unacceptable. So that's where I can align. Okay, that's what. How am I on the side of the defense? Well, like this. First, his treatment is absolutely unacceptable in a modern society. It's no excuse for it. He's a pretrial detainee. Secondly, a vigorous defense would make a trial much more productive as far as truth and facts coming to the surface. So yeah. So what's the problem? I mean, we have an absolute aggressive, unhinged prosecution. So why not have a vigorous, strong, hearty defense? Who could argue that? Who other than a fucking criminal? Okay, like unless you're trying to hide something or cover up some murders, who would argue that? Okay, you got a totally fucking unhinged prosecution and judge. So who would have a problem with the vigorous, hearty, strong, awesome defense? What's wrong with it? Somebody tell me. Like, what is wrong? Okay, they're shaming now for the money. What's wrong with the money? Okay, so they can hire better experts to counter the facts. Okay, let the experts have it out in court. Let the jury decide. And they're having a problem. Oh, I read that one. Cheerio, Mrs. Stone. Shibby, 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 shabby, shabby. I fucked it up, Carol. Shivers for short, profits already coined. Oh, I didn't know that. I said shabs. He's shabby. He's shabby at times. Always hit the love button. Okay, here, commercial time. You guys, please hit the love button. Hit the Cash App. Hit the Buy Me a Coffee. Hit the the photography, the merch, the like button, the share button, the watch the old content. Support the channel in any way you see fit. Don't matter to me. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Okay. Shippers ain't shabby. Shabby is in a compliment. Yeah, a little ribbing never hurt the sweet dude shibby, though. Police force is basically a gang. Well, they have to be these days. But I mean, the escalating of situations is what infuriates me. I mean, cops should be taught de-escalation as a primary motivational strategy. Like, let's go into situations, de-escalate and go away. Let's not go into situations, escalate, and then fucking cause problems and deaths and jail time and bullshit. Shabby no blocky anyone, especially you, Diamond Eyes. Where's my Diamond Eyes? She's just coming in. Are you late, Diamond Eyes? Aw. Shivers blocked me. Shivers gonna get the belt. Shivers, you're going into timeout. Okay. Okay. K West wants to fight. It's Shivers. That's a wrap. No, it's Shabby at times. Okay. Carol's lurking. Good, Carol. I love you. Okay. Archive.org. Was looking for a bitch. who you looking for Randy? You looking for Randy, Carol? This party's getting rowdy now. You guys are crazy. Look at all this shit. If you smile while you say you can call me anything. Okay, douchebag. All right, Mrs. Stone. Thank you, Mrs. Stone, for the love. Thank you so much. That's nice, sweet. That's nice, sweet love, Mrs. Stone. Thank you. $5 holler, as they say. They should be more careful. Who's they? I forget what you're talking about now, Mandy. Mandy. I forget what you're talking about. Derek snitched on a local bigwig, among others. Liberty figured something out. I think she was going to go to LE. Well, that's the rumor. Not only did Derek roll in Kokomo, but his daughter knew something she should not. In my opinion, Derek carries the guilt. Well, that's your theory. I don't disagree. I don't agree. I'm no longer calling you Shivers or using any other nickname to be murdered in here again. Game over. Still wondering if LE and the state coming out like Thelma and Louise. Shit, I can't read. Okay. K West. Oh, I'm still wondering if LE and the state coming clean with the truth about this case will require something on the level full alien disclosure. No, it's going to require the fucking FBI to come out and take them all down because they're all covering it up. They'll never come out. I think FBI will come out and take the whole fucking cartel down, which includes fucking ISP, in my opinion. Carol's so spicy. That's why I love her up in here. She usually comes swinging this saloon door where I don't open. Okay. Oh, you're saying Ellie? Okay. Nobody murdered Shivers by calling her shabby until I called her Shivers. It's ruined. That's a wrap. What the? K West, it's bedtime. Or maybe it's morning time. Isn't it morning time? So fucking late for you. As long as you hold my hand, we can go out like Thelma and Louise. Lots of room in this car. 100-mile-per-hour cliff in sight. Oh, thank you, Just James. You just became a member. Thank you. That's an honor. That's an honor. Thank you for doing me an honor like that. That's just nice, man. Have you considered Liberty was payback? There's other kids in the area. I don't know. You know, all theories, rumors. Is this chat a cover for a dating site? Yes, it is, because Fur Baby Daddy used to date the crazy bitch, and then let's see, Shibs dates everyone, and I date about at least 5 of these girls in here. Good night, K West. Yeah, you need to go to bed, bub. Isn't it morning time yet? Okay. It's 2:44 p.m. in Oz. No, Sonya. Oh man, Sonya was well, she was going off. Was that here's what we gotta figure out, you guys. Was that actually Sonya from Joe's? Or was that a troll? I still haven't figured out. I have a feeling it could be Sonya. I feel it could be fucking Sonya, which is real fucking weird. Like Sonya. Gosh. Same K West. Everyone, I joke because I love you. And a super sticker. Thank you, bub. Thank you. Thank you, Bubba. Whoa. Super sticker and a membership. Thank you, man. You must be enjoying. Look, we enjoy the show every night. We enjoy the show. Although at times I'm not worth the shit. I mean, I'm often tired because I do late shows. But cheers to you. You think Sonya was fake? Yeah, it was kind of weird, wasn't it? I mean, she just kept going and going and going and going and going and wouldn't let it go. But hey, you never know because that's what this other one does. Like it's been 2 months. She hasn't left me alone. 2 fucking months. Okay, good night, K West. Wooded Diamond. Yeah, it's been 2 months. I don't know if you're oh my godding about the crazy bitches, but she's in my Discord. Which one? Sonia? Who's in my Discord, Amy? Was there a specially trained FBI op under Massa to track down who ran the criminal enterprise involved in DALE? Spending Pat Massa fell their back. Oh, Sonya is? Is the real Sonya in Discord? Maybe I should send her a message if she is. Because I couldn't tell. I honestly couldn't tell. I could not tell if that was our Sonya or just some troll Sonya. I couldn't tell. It was crazy shit, though. Good night, Marianne Foster. Thank you for watching, and good night to you. Yeah, it's all the trolls. Like I said, you've never seen nothing like this. You've never seen nothing like this, Diamond Guys. And it's been ongoing with me for a year. It's been ongoing for a year. It's very interesting. And it took a lot to learn about it, but I guess the major accomplishment I made, the major accomplishment was figuring out that they're all locals. They're all locals. That was a major accomplishment. That was a major accomplishment. She was told to fuck off, kept going on about kids and calling cops. She sounded reasonable on Joe's search show. It had to be a troll. Yeah, I know. She said something about someone told her you're gonna fuck off or die to her kid. And I'm like, she puts the I in biatch. Oh yes, she does. Preckerson, I think it's more than that by the way family has acted. I really think LG knew something about Flora. Maybe that's the rumor. That's the rumor. But I never with the rumors like that, I always just leave it at that. It's like, yeah, could be, could be. It's a possibility. Okay. I chalk it up to that. It is a possibility. It's a solid possibility. It's a good fucking possibility because it's a good rumor. But that's where I leave it. And I've told people for everyone I talk to, I said, obviously I'm a receipts person because I don't believe shit none of you tell me. I mean, it's like I don't believe shit no one tells me. Okay. I don't believe shit no one tells me. You got to show me. And I've been shown a lot. And I really do believe, look, my basic theory is you had these people, like Old Mart is describing, you had these people at Wilson Bridge. Girls end up dead. They've lied about it since day one. It's been a cover-up since day one. Now, how does Richard fit into this? I have an opinion. I have an opinion. That's the new troll tactic. Listen to one live and pretend to be someone in the next live. So many things that could be behind a cover-up. Too many things going on in a town. Yeah, inbreeding, methamphetamine, sex clubs, and all the locals. All the locals. Well, we know what got them to attack me at first, which was you want to know what caused them to attack? Let's go through the list because you guys will like this. First thing, when I mentioned Becky and Kelsey not being honest enough with law enforcement, and I said, you girls got to go talk. Okay, that's when the trolls first attacked. Okay, Becky and Kelsey not talking. Okay, when did the trolls launch a second attack? When I talked about Richard Allen possibly helping out the Smurfs through CBS. Okay, or possibly himself being Papa Smurf and just grabbing by the pallet full or something like that. Okay, so when I talked about Richard Allen and the meth, and when I talked about Becky and Kelsey, and what has it been recently? Hmm. We settled on a nearby town, but not Carroll County. Well, thank goodness that you're safer than normal. I mean, if you'd had ended up in Carroll County, you'd really be fucked right now. You'd really be fucked. And to think, in 2015, I almost rented a house in Delphi to provide a safer home to my forthcoming baby daughter than our apartment in the war zone of downtown Lafayette. Dodged a bullet with that one. Teresa says, I don't think Richard has anything to do with this. Many people don't. She started by gaslighting, saying everyone in this chat was being mean to her. Nobody was. I couldn't find anybody. All I saw was, I think Carol said, fuck off. Yeah, good job, James. Good, James. Good job. Flora was declared a quadruple homicide 2 or 3 weeks before Abby and Libby were murdered. Yeah, Sweet Dude Shibby, I've noticed that. I mean, we should email because I noticed that change in strategy about February. Okay, about February, there was a change of strategy with the troll farm. Why does it always go back to Derek? It always goes back to Derek. Who's Derek's other daughter? What do you mean 30 months? I can never keep track, Mandy, of what you're saying. Strike one, compliment. Strike two, polite warning. And if they keep going, block them. Just saw something. Elvis and his sister may have received subpoenas. Good. They should. They should. Derek and Cody. Yeah, they should. Wow. Carter's first interview post 2019 press conference. You see me, I'm kind of itching with dry skin. It's been so damn dry. Well, that would really be interesting, Four Pits. I think they all need to be in court. Debbie Lowe, where'd you see it? Where'd you see it? Well, here's my opinion, yeah, Mrs. Stone. I think where they all fucked up was they thought they could lie for 7 years and get away with it. I've said that before, how, the observation that it's easy to tell the truth because you don't have to ever remember anything. You tell the truth every time. If you're telling the truth, every time you say it, it's going to be the same. Okay, every time you tell the truth, it's just going to be the truth because the truth never changes. So somebody asks you a question, boom, are you describing something? Boom, it's the truth, it's the truth, it's the truth. You can constantly be consistent because it's the truth. But if you made up some bullshit fucking story, some lie, you have to remember it, okay? And then if there's another lie and another and another, and so if you got this whole narrative that's nothing but lies and angles and there's some agenda, you're going to have to keep all that in mind, and it's hard to do. So you're going to have a problem being consistent because every time it comes up, you're going to have to try to remember what is the line for that, what's the pre-approved story. She has a channel called The Accused. I shared it to you. Oh, did you text it? I want this trial to be televised. Yeah, I mean, now, did you guys read the letters today? Did you read the letters? I should read them to you.
Hey guys, I just wanted to stop on here real quick and let you guys know that I was told, but I can't confirm it, that Elvis Field and his two sisters were just served papers to appear in court on April 19th. The person who sent me that information said that she lives 4 trailers down from Elvis Fields and that she's seen him served with her own eyes. And like I said, I can't confirm that, but I'm guessing in a day or two, it should be on a docket and it should be able to be confirmed then if it's true.
You guys heard that? Did you hear that?
Hey guys, I just wanted to stop on here real quick and let you guys know that I was told, but I can't confirm it, that Elvis Field and his two sisters were just served papers to appear in court on April 19th. Person who sent me that information said that she lives 4 trailers down from Elvis Fields and that she's seen him served with her own eyes. And like I said, I can't confirm that, but I'm guessing in a day or two, it should be on a docket and it should be able to be confirmed then if it's true.
Okay. Well, let's read them real quick. Let me read you these 2 letters. Remember, I was on the soapbox earlier about extremists and the 2 extremes. Let me read these letters to you because I didn't think they were worth posting. Usually I post the correspondence to the court, but I just laughed. I just laughed at these letters. Now, the first one is from a completely unhinged jackass, dumbass named James Beverton. James Beverton. Okay. Now, if you want to hear a fucking maniac, listen to James Beverton. Okay, I'll read James's letter to Judge Francis Gull. Okay, this letter is dated April 3rd. April 3rd. So you got to understand that's quite a while ago. Today is April 15th. So April 3rd, he says, Honorable Judge Gull. Okay. The victims in this case, Abigail and Liberty, their surviving family members, are as important to this case as the idea of justice being done. That statement doesn't make sense. To honor and respect them, only one course of action is required, and that is to stand firm on a lack of video or audio coverage of the trial. Let's repeat that. To honor and respect them, only one course of action is required, and that is to stand firm on a lack of video or audio coverage of the trial. Okay. It is with great sadness for the lack of humanity that I see YouTube creators, defense attorneys live streaming and podcasting just facts, people who weren't cut out for practicing law, desperate for attention and media appearances, who have become a hive mind of misinformation spreaders, instigators, and sensationalistic content creators. Some of whom, despite being present in your court as proceedings are taking place before them, rush to do a live stream on YouTube to their rabid followers and barefaced lie about what was said in order to add fuel to the already too many conspiracies and theories floating around about this case. Any audio or video of the trial will be used in this manner by these people. These that truly believe every person in a position of authority within Carroll County is part of a grand conspiracy. And yes, the very same people who have either seen or desperately want to see the crime scene photographs that were leaked due to negligence on the part of Mr. Baldwin, who was stolen from. Some of these who host their own content have created relationships with Mr. Hennessy and Kara Schaefer-Winnecke. Not only does neither one appear to want to quell the behaviors, they actively encourage the re-victimization of Abigail and Liberty. For the sake of the victims, their families, anyone who retains their humanity, please do not allow any recordable coverage of this trial. Sincerely, James. Sounds like Mr. James, actually. Sounds like James. You guys know James, right? It sounds like James. Oh, Lord. Oh. I think it's that James. It's got to be. I mean, it's got to be. If he's with the Frank Meister, Coach Kevin Ruckus, that's Troll Farm, Troll Farm, Troll Farm. Okay, but, okay, so James doesn't want any recordable devices, neither audio nor video camera, because of YouTubers. Okay, he's big shit. Yeah. Okay, so look. Then we had a gangster. Okay. Okay. Then we had a gangster come in. A gangster called Savas Gun. Savas Gun. I don't know if I believe this is a real name. Okay, Savas Gun. Yeah. Savas says Judge. Savas Savas says Judge. This is gangster. Judge. Let cameras be in the courtroom so at least we can see what happens in there. Given how horribly biased you are and abusing your power, we do not have a shred of trust for you. You must have recused yourself long ago and not babysit the corrupt prosecution and law enforcement. What a despicable human being you are. Shame. Oh, the end. All right, so let me read it one more time in case you missed anything important. Once again, Judge. Let cameras in the courtroom so at least we can see what happens in there. Given how horribly biased you are and abusing your power, we do not have a shred of trust for you. You must have recused yourself long ago and not babysit the corrupt prosecution and law enforcement. What a despicable human being you are. Shame. And that's Savas Gun. I mean, can you say succinct? the way yeah, he closes it with shame, and he opens it with judge. Oh my gosh! Yeah, congrats. Moron of the Week award goes to James. James, douche. What a douche you are. What a douche you are. Oh my God. I mean, that's where it's posting just for laughing. I mean, just for laugh points. Just for laughs. Just for laughs, bro. I need to put that on the page just so everyone can laugh. Yay, James. James. James gets douche of the week award, man. James. Not just James, but just James, you know. Frank Meister James. Ruckus James. Coach Kev. Coach Kev. Troll Farm James. Yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen, that's just a prime example of the two extremes we're dealing with here. I'm just speechless. I mean, I don't think I can add anything. I don't think I can add anything to that. I mean, one says, no cameras because YouTubers. The other says, judge, shame, cameras. So, I mean, hey, cameras wouldn't hurt. Cameras wouldn't hurt. If you got nothing to hide, what's wrong with cameras? That's when when the conspiracy theorists say to me about the phones always listening and the computer's always watching through this camera hole here, and when they say that, I'm like, what the fuck do I care? I mean, look, the NSA has been monitoring internet traffic, the entire internet traffic of the United States of America since the 80s. Do you think I give a fuck? I mean, I got nothing to hide. Pardon. I got nothing to hide. I live as if the camera's always watching and the phone's always listening, because they do. I mean, today, so I was telling my brother on a phone call yesterday, I was like, hey man, and I was telling him this story about Twizzlers, because I said, I did an experiment once, because I hate Twizzlers. Okay, I hate Twizzlers. I hate them. So it's nothing I would ever talk about. Nothing I would ever eat is a Twizzler. I hate Twizzlers. Always had since I was a kid. And I was telling that story yesterday or day before. I was like, hey man, like I tried once in like 2017. I told my son, I was like, I said, the phone's always listening. Let's do this little thing. Let me think of something I never ever have said in front of my phone or anything. And I said, I know. I'll say this because it's something I never have said because I never think about, never talk about, and I never would want is I said. And so what I said was, well, I really wish I had a Twizzlers. I would love a Twizzler. I just can't, I wish I had a Twizzler right now. And then I said, watch, I bet you I'm going to start getting ads. So I did that in 2017. And sure enough, for a year, I got Twizzler ads on Facebook and on Google and stuff and YouTube. So I was telling that story to my brother a day or two ago, and look what pops up this morning. So, I mean, they're always listening. I mean, these phones never stop listening. The cameras never stop seeing. So, I mean, hey, you have to live as though they do. I mean, so if that's all the deal, then why can't we have cameras in the courtroom? You got nothing to hide, right? That's the point I'm trying to make. We got nothing to hide. Okay, you got nothing to hide? Put the cameras in the fucking courtroom, you dumb bitch. Your daughter and you did it. Yeah. It's a nice experiment. But you have to think of something you've never said before, ever. A product. Think of a product you've never ever talked about, you never ever wanted, and then just say it loudly in front of your phone, obviously how much you want one or you're thinking about. And I guarantee 100% you're going to start getting ads. All right. But that's what I'm saying with these cameras in the courtroom. I mean, come on, Gall. Come on. I mean, like, for fucking real. For fucking real. Cameras in the courtroom because you owe it to the people. Anyway, y'all, I'm ready to get out of here. I'd like to be a fly on the wall in that trailer. Yeah. There you go, just James. Talk to them in the language they understand. Any network broadcasting of this trial would make bank from ad revenue. Okay. That was Fabio romantic. Yeah. Yeah, let me put that comment back up. That was a nice one, Shibs. Let's see. Shivers. That's romantic to go. She likes insults. Fabio level. All right, so I'm out of here, y'all. Public interest equals cameras in court. Yeah, I mean, you certainly would instill a lot of confidence in the proceedings should you add cameras to the process because people would say, hey, at least we know what's going on. But, we'll talk about that in a future episode. Thanks, everyone, for being here. I am extremely, I thought we'd only go 2 hours today, so we went a little extra. It took a while to get it all out. It's important shit, it's important stuff. Let me say it nicely. It's important stuff. It's important stuff. So thank you, everyone, for being here. There's all kind of places to go, and there's all kind of conversations to be had. It's good we all have them. But I really do love my place here on these YouTubes, and I think there's good conversations here because I know that everyone in here actually cares, and that's what I care about is people caring. Okay, we should all care, and we should care in a way that's genuine. And I know many of you do, most of you. So thank you for being here. Oh, look at there goes Noe. Good night, Noe. Good night, James. Good night, Digital. and Mrs. Stone 99. Mr. Shibby, good night. We do put up with you, Shibs. And Lambert Cole, thank you, Lambert. Thank you for the nice message, Lambert, as well. Diamond Dies, good night, Diamond. Look at you. Good night, Teresa. Good night, Sea Star. And Just James. And Carol. And Four Pits. Good night, Four Pits. Good night, Sea Star. Digital. Good night, Digital. I'm trying to catch all these names in here. Mandy. Good night, Mandy. Good night, what else is in here? Amy. Good night, Amy. And anyone else? I'm going back pretty far. Anyone else lurking? How about I just make it easy? Anyone else lurking? Thank you so much for lurking. Thank you for being here. Okay. All right. Good night, Sea Star, James, and Mrs. Stone. Thank you for the membership and the super chat. And hey, we got a few ladies missing. Where in the hell is Rochelle? I haven't seen Rochelle. She was sick last week. But you guys see Rochelle lurking around somewhere. Tell Rochelle I'm concerned about her. But yeah, everyone else who is in the lurker crew, good night to you. And if you're on the replay, thanks for watching. Right, thanks for watching the replays. And please watch some other replays. I'm working on some things for you guys. And so please watch the replays. Leave your comments below the replays because you don't get the live chats, but you have the comment section. And hey, everyone who's still here, by the way, everyone watching at this moment, I've started a series of posts called Delphi Weird Shit. Delphi Weird Shit. She did put it in the record, Lambert Co. She did. I have the filing there. I just didn't read you the filing. But yes, you want me to read you the filing. She put it in the record. The record says, ex parte communication from James Beverton and Savis Gunn ordered, copied, and sent to Council of Record and the Clerk of Carroll County Circuit Court. So, yeah, no, it's in the record. She put in the record, Lambert. Yeah, where's Luna? There's a whole bunch missing. There's all our girls missing. Everyone's mad at me. Like, I'll tell you what really happened. All these motherfuckers got mad at me. A lot of them. I'm not saying that all of them. A lot of these, I'm telling you, people are insane. People are absolutely insane over these Delphi murders. It's a community rife with PTSD because of the extreme amount of gaslighting and bullshit and abuse and trolling. And so I don't give a shit anymore. People get mad. People come. People go. People come in. People go out. Who gives a shit? I mean, look, I can't control anyone. I miss Ronnie. Yeah, Ronnie Reed. Ronnie Reed's mad, I'm sure. Luna's probably mad. I don't know. People get fucking mad and weird. Yay, weird shits. Yeah, but no. So go to my community page, Delphi Weird Shits. Okay. I got a bunch of posts. If you have questions about anything, drop it in the comments below the post. I'll try to elaborate if I can. But I'm putting important things in there that should help to paint a picture for you. Hey, Lisa. Well, at least you're not being weird. Hey, Lisa. Missed the live, have to replay. Okay, so good night to you all. We miss you. Anyone who wasn't here, you know we miss you. Even if you don't like us or you're mad at us or not, we still miss you. If you're sick, we hope you get better. If you're lurking, keep on lurking. But join the comment section on the replays because that's nice to do because you keep it going even though you didn't catch it live. Okay. It's okay to leave in a huff. Come back next day, week, and move on. Yeah, I've done that myself. Remember last week? I just had enough bullshit and I killed the stream. I was like, fuck all you guys, but boom. Yeah, we're all a little, everyone's on edge. I've said that before. Everyone's on edge. So, hey, everyone chill out. It's just the internet. Okay. But anyway, Teresa's right. It's late. Everyone's sleepy. I am too. Eyes are droopy. Good night to you all. This is an open fire channel. Yeah, thank you, Diamond Eyes. I love you too, Diamond Eyes. All right, so we'll see you all later. And hey, good night. Hug your kids, hug your wife. And if you're really upset, hide your kids, hide your wife. But they raping everybody around here. It's Delphi. So we'll catch you guys later. Thanks for being here.